Hey, this is a national recording artist called Roland, and I am a proud supporter of KUAW's Summer Fun Drive, and I've got something special in store for you. So come on and join me. Head to KUA.
Well, yeah, we good. All right, now we're making a sound.
They couldn't hear us at first?
No, no. It went, yeah, yeah, we can hear it there, but not through there. So yeah, hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in once again to another episode of Street Therapy in KUAW Studios, high above in the WEB Du Bois Learning Center. Yeah, we are still located in the WEB Du Bois Learning Center. All right. Shouts out to them as well. So before we get started with this show, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and toss out the phone numbers 816-599-6893, 816-599-6893. If you want to give us a shout out on the web, just kuaw.org is the web, kuaw.org. You can definitely tune in to us on Facebook and the whole nine. That's stirring up stuff. So yeah, so listen, today is September the 1st. We've made it through August. We're making it through August. Today is September the 1st, 9/1. So much has gone on in September. One of the main events, back in September 11th. Remember, it's coming up here in a few weeks on 9/11. So definitely want to keep an eye out for that. So today I have a special host in the studio with me. First time she's been in here, but listen, first time she's been here for a while. No,
Wow, right now.
yeah,
My
yeah,
first time in here.
yeah. So I want to introduce to some and present to others, Mrs. Candace.
Okay.
Hello, Candy. How you doing?
Fine, fine.
Good, good. Listen, thank you for coming in today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Like you said, it's been a while.
Yeah, yeah. So a little bit about yourself, Candy, and can I call you Candy?
Yes,
Okay, a
yes.
little bit about yourself, Candy, for those who don't know you and for those who need to be maybe reintroduced to you.
I'm out here in Eastern
She said, "What? Yeah,
No, I am. I do a lot of. Are you gonna
you can't
introduce me,
can't
or you
see
want me to?
Kansas City
You,
native.
yes.
Okay, Candace is a Kansas City native, born and raised here.
Yes, I
All
am.
right, she was local here. I'll let you give a little bit of your backstory as far as what you do. Is that fine?
As far as what I do, I'm
Yeah,
do
far as
everything
okay,
though.
she does everything. She does everything.
No.
No, but really, I want to just introduce you to everybody. So this will be my co-host for the day, Mrs. Candy. But our topic today was just want to talk a little bit about what's going on in Kansas City, but really what's going on nationwide. I think a lot of us are real privy to what's going on. Obviously we can see what's happening. So some things that kind of disturbed me is I was looking at a lot of the things that's going on in light of yeah, I mean we can go back to George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, but now just recently I forgot the brother's name right now. I'm naming them. Brothers got who was murdered by the cop the other day. 7 shots in the back.
Mhm.
So my premise to that conversation was just looking at all of the different things that's going on, and the different feelings that everybody has. What are your feelings on some of those events?
It's funny you asked me that because I've attended the protest where it was like what blew my mind was it was a time where they were doing a protest where you could were allowed to ask the police questions,
Yeah,
and a lot of people didn't even know about
yeah,
it. And it was like the sergeants and different um captains and people train the police answering questions.
right.
And one of the training sergeants, I can't remember her name, but she's the person who's over who trains people.
Hmm.
she's a black woman.
Right.
She was actually asked if um she was actually asked, does she have a black son?
Mm.
And she was like, yeah. And the man asked her to be 100% honest.
Right.
She said, when your son walk out that door every day, he asked her, when your son walks out that door every day,
Right.
how do you really feel?
Mm. Now he asked the officer that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and when I say the crowd, you
Yeah.
could feel it.
Quite. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she was like, "I'll be 100% honest with you.
Mm.
I fear for him."
Yeah.
And for me to hear that come out of her mouth
Yeah.
lets me know, because this is the woman who trains them, and like she said, I train them, but I cannot, I can't control outside jurisdiction,
Absolutely.
which is understandable. But to me, it's to a point where, like, now I don't even know what else to say about it. Like,
Yeah.
why do we have to get to this point? Why is it at this point that we have to, like, beg y'all to stop beating us? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other, earlier today, and I said, man, I think I'm beyond the point of being, hurt and upset. Because a lot of times, you see it, you get emotional, and then it bothers you, and then you look at it, then you look at another situation, then you get angry, you get mad, then you look at another situation, and then you feel sorry. I said now it's to a point, man, where it's almost that I'm embarrassed, and the reason why I say that is because as an American, no American should treat another American like that. We see, and
not
we
even an American, a human.
straight up,
A
and,
human.
and then we seeing this, right, and then we're seeing this, and it's like it's not just us seeing this, it's the nation, it's the world seeing this, and it's like we got to be, the laughing stock. Now I understand that there's a lot of situations going on in other countries, because definitely we've seen it when George Floyd was murdered. I mean, there were situations in France and just all over in different countries, but there's got to be a tipping point. There's got to be at some point. You say enough's enough. But then when you get to that point, it's like, what do you do? They say, police need to be retrained. Okay, well, we talked about that over and over and over again.
It's funny you say that, because I actually had a conversation the other day on Facebook with a guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he said the reason it is happening is because the way that we react. Like, we basically, to be taught, like, when you are approached to be, you have to go into it as a certain gesture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to go in it. And I said, no, you can't convince me that.
Right.
You can't convince me that. He threw that, I got black friends,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
this, and they never did this and never was like this. And I said, well, that's good, because they haven't lived their life yet.
Right.
Because as an educated black male or female,
Right.
you're a threat no matter what.
Sure.
So
No doubt.
silence or speaking is a threat for us.
Yeah.
So they come at us with already a prejudgment of who we are.
Absolutely. Yeah, my son said, he said that some time ago. He said, man, it's funny that Dad, when Dr. King was marching, it was peaceful. They walked through and it was peaceful, and they got the bottles and the dogs and things like that thrown on. But the minute people turn around and damage property and things like that, then it's like, at one point they're like, what, you're protesting now this way, now you're protesting this way, and there's an issue with both ways. There's no it's uncomfortable, absolutely,
but
because
let's be
in
honest,
your face.
neither way is working.
Yeah.
Because for years we tried silence.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm tried silence. Malcolm tried violence.
Right.
Morton tried silence.
Silence,
Hugh tried this.
Yep.
Elaine Baker. We could just keep
Yeah,
naming it and keep
yeah.
naming it. It's
Marcus Garvey said, "Go separate and get your own money."
right. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the whole thing. And what drives me crazy about our community.
Mhm.
This drives us. This community. I have to say it. When I sit there and say, let's build a Black Wall Street, the first thing they say is, no, they burnt the last one down. But that's what y'all just did to Target.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all just burnt it down. And guess what Target just did? They just found another location to buy it.
Yeah.
Now, if we had sense enough to start buying land, then
Yeah. That's really the game changer is buying land, because you look at it, and
That's how the founder of McDonald's got rich.
Yeah, no doubt. Right, right. I mean, you're right, no doubt. And you look at it, but you say, you said, well, is it, do we have to continue to vote? Do we have to vote our interest? Do we have to do this? Then you say, okay, well, if that's the case, do we separate and create our own? And then, you look at it from the point that a lot of people are saying, okay, well, let's spend money with black owned only. Well, that's fine, but that only goes so far.
You know what? And that's what he said. But this is my thing. Somebody told me that they said, "Well, what about the containers that you had to package the stuff in, or what about this and what about that?" Listen, we created everything. Like we created whatever thought you just thought about.
Absolutely.
We already invented it.
Absolutely.
There's plastic did not just come from them.
Absolutely.
Glass, you can use. We have sand. You can use glass, make sand glass out of it's. We got to think bigger.
We do. We got to think. Yeah, we got to think because you look at. I think, to be honest with you, and I got my whole conspiracy side plus my logical side plus, but I really think the reason why it's happening like this is to continue to get us confused, because you have a group of people saying, hey, let's burn everything up. You have everybody say, a group of people saying, hey, let's unite.
Cut you off. As a bail bondsman, we wasn't the ones burning it up, okay? We was not the ones tearing it down. Let me tell you something. The ones that went to jail were basically in the way. We were not the ones burning it down. We came in peace.
Yep.
Now what they did at nighttime, that was them.
It's funny you said that because I was looking at the latest one, like I said, the brother that was shot up in Wisconsin. They said that one group of people said they noticed that when it got dark outside, they kept noticing these cars that were coming in that had different license plates. They had one from Utah, and they had one from Minnesota, and they had one from this. And so that makes you think, because down here, when we protested down here, there were definitely some people that were like, yo, they're not from around here. You know who's from around here. They look like they're from around here. But a lot of people say, these people are not from around here. And we noticed that in Minneapolis, with George Floyd's situation. They said, listen, man, these people are not from around here. And as you said, as a bail bondsman, you would know a lot of that information. But I mean, like the gentleman that was at the AutoZone, that was busting the windows in the AutoZone with the umbrella over his shoulder. They said, well, listen, man, that guy, his wife out in the mount as being, he was a police officer. And a lot of these different cases where these provocateurs are coming into these things, and I think what it is designed to keep us confused, like I was saying, because you have a group saying this and a group saying this and a group saying this, and then everybody's running to, since emotions so high, everybody's running to who they think best fit how they feel right now, and it's getting lost and nothing's getting accomplished.
Yeah, because when we was at the protest, it was crazy. You had the teachers over here laying down because they, they teaching them kids. We're teaching. You had the mothers over here. You even had people who wanted to do away with the sheriff and
defund the police.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Like, but y'all don't have a real solution. You just stand over here yelling just to be heard.
Yeah.
Like,
what are your thoughts on that? Defunding police.
How?
Yeah.
Like, but this is my thing. We fail to realize that it's not hard to create your own police force. Like, once you establish civil, I mean, it's a whole
trust.
Yeah, not even that. When you build your own community, it's not hard to hire security. Yeah. And they put a law in play that say we can defend ourselves. It's called, what's the law that Georgia the stand your ground law?
Stand your ground law.
So we can protect you can protect property to a certain extent.
Right. Yeah, but that's stand your ground law, man.
It don't go for us.
That didn't go for us. That didn't go for us. Unfortunately, man, because it's so disheartening that, it's just like, I guess the big question would be why, and I think, right now you really have to be strategic, because obviously when you're running from place to place to place to place to place, you never be able to sit down and get a clear focus and a clear mind, because your emotions are pouring so many different places, and rightfully so, because I mean it's confusing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're angry, you're upset, you're hurt. You know what I'm saying? And when you have people who are play on that, and then you have people to come in and really feed you information, negative information, then it distorts a lot of things.
What hurts me the most is that we have a leader in play that don't even really care.
Yeah.
He just is basically saying what he needs to say for Twitter.
Hmm.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, what do I have to say now? Like,
Yeah.
you have no emotions of what we've gone through because he don't have a problem with putting us back through what we went through.
Right. Right. And that's interesting that you said that because he doesn't, and I think uh, even that's by design because when he sits and says what he says definitely incites his base, and when he incites his base are just like laser focus on Trump, Trump, Trump,
Yeah.
and that's hard because I got friends that like Trump, and my question to them is
How?
why.
No.
Yeah.
How could you like somebody who runs a melting pot and tell somebody they don't belong?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if that's the case, guess what?
What's that?
None of us do.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, they don't belong. Well, let me tell you something. I like the way they clean. I like the way they cook.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
good with me.
Absolutely, absolutely. We got one question here or comment from my man Forrest Tyson. He said, "Chris, the sad thing is the issue for the unrest seriously is not seriously being taken by the authorities. They are sweeping it under the rug as usual, kicking it down the road as someone else to deal with." That's right. It is, man. Thanks, Forrest. It is. You know, and that's why I said we have to be strategic. If you want to buy black only, that's fine. But you gotta
Let me tell you something.
go ahead.
I took care of Miss Kelly in the past. Let me tell you what she told me.
Hmm.
All white people ain't bad,
Uh-huh.
and all black people ain't good.
Hmm. Hmm.
We have to learn
Yeah,
who to support and who not to support.
absolutely.
And at this point, if we keep supporting them big corporations, we gonna
Absolutely.
still get what we
Absolutely.
still gonna get it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. When you buy money with people, well, our community show it. When we have gas stations, when we have certain things in our community that just sit there and suck all the resources out and add nothing to it. Years and years and years. When I was growing up, I was taught to vote Democrat all the way down the ticket. No matter what you do, if they have a D by their name, just vote their name. I said, well, who is this person? Nah, don't worry about that. Did they have a Democrat? Yeah. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. So as I got older and I started kind of looking at, I'm like, well, that's a Democrat, but man, I don't understand what he stands for. It's just like doesn't make sense to
yeah.
me.
Mhm.
I wouldn't vote for him if period. Democrat or not. But I think, and I think it's really just time to really just focus and educate ourselves because I think this election right here would be pretty big. We got.
This woman told me.
Mhm.
She told me, at this point, we picking the least, the better of the least evil.
Mhm.
I said that's sad that's what it's down to.
That's what they said last election. Yeah, between Hillary Clinton and
Nah,
President Trump.
I'm sorry. I couldn't even do it with neither one. I wrote my
Yeah.
name in.
I would have voted for you too. You should have put it on the ballot because I
Like,
sure would have
I
voted for you.
would have, I would have,
Yeah.
one president. Could y'all see me as the president?
Yeah. Listen, I tell you what though,
First thing I'm gonna do is free us
yeah,
as the president.
yeah. Listen, and that's you know what, that's funny you said that. A lot of this money, that's all these billions and trillions of dollars is floating around, and a lot of this money is going to our military. A lot of this money that's going to all these different offshore accounts, and all these big wigs or whatever the case, but none of it ever touches our communities. And I think that's where we are right now is we gotta stop waiting for somebody to help us. And I think that's our deal. We're waiting for somebody to come through and help us out.
They come in and help us, but this is what we're satisfied with what they help us with.
Yeah.
It's like we ask for the help and then we get satisfied with them giving us a little bit of what we need.
Yeah.
Like, it's certain things, like for my thing right here, anybody that has a house close to them, that highway that we didn't ask for,
Sure.
needs
Yeah.
their foundation fixed.
Yeah.
Like, it's certain things that we need as taxpayers that we should be getting on our houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these let's peel the banana all the way
Sure.
back to the fruit
Mm-hmm.
and say about these associations that's getting all this money
Mm-hmm.
and they not writing it off correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you need to start showing up. You own a house in association,
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah. 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 And that's man, and that's definitely part of, community involvement. And having people that have your best interest at white, black, or indifferent, but have your best interest at heart, because I mean, these are people's lives. When you see the coronavirus and you see 100-something thousand people die and things like that, or over 1,000 people die, that's not just over 1,000 people. That's somebody's life. And I think a lot of times when we see that, even when we see these these shootings and things like that, these are people's lives that are affected. These are not just I think we're at number 111 right now, probably a little longer. Yeah, and that's a life. That's not just number 111. That's somebody's kid or parent. Are we at 111?
I think we had like 130. Yeah.
Not that. Listen, that's worse. Last I looked, that was 111.
Now we hit that jackpot this weekend on these last couple of days. It's like 2 girls, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be rules to stuff. It used to be people used to have morals.
Yeah.
People used to have values. But you know where we failed at?
Yeah.
We failed with our own school district. We allow these people because we are working as corporate American jobs, and we didn't send our kids to school. We allow these people to feed our kids and treat our kids any kind of way, and we don't even have I go to a lot of the board of education meetings, and I don't see nobody down there. And it's sad that y'all first ones to yell, I never send my kids to the Kensington School District. Yeah. But guess what? They don't even want y'all kids nowhere else. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and they don't. You don't want to send your kids there, and they don't see you come there.
Right. The first thing y'all do is take y'all kids to Blue Springs Lee Summit, and they do what? Give y'all kids what is it called? An IP or IEP, and say, well, this child needs no, this child don't need. There needs to be back in this environment. 100%. It's like taking a tiger and putting it in the zebra cage. What you think's gonna happen?
1,000%. That's funny. You said that. My man Forrest Heights said he's gonna write his name in too for the presidency.
I just found out don't do that because it goes to the person.
Don't do that. All right, Tice, he said, yeah, you're right, man. 132 homicides, and we are at 103. We were at 103 this time last year. Yeah, that's sad.
I was going to grandma's house coming down Swole Parkway the other day. They got it all blocked off because somebody got killed on 54th. Yeah. I said that's just I don't know what else to say at this point. What we gonna? But the question, I know what to say. What are we gonna do? Like, we can't change it. I mean, we can't change it like right now. Right. We have to change it within these kids. Right. And that's what I tell people. Y'all got to install in your kids more morals and values and being like we used to do. Stop making it seem like you can do it all, because as soon as you mess up, you talking about ain't nobody helping you. Well, we tried.
Yeah, no, that's an excuse. That's an excuse, and that's a cop out. Ain't no excuses. Yeah, you're right. We got to figure out what's our responsibility. I was in my latter show. I had Dr. Nimrod Chappell of NAACP, and I had Sheriff Darrell Forte, and Roy Chin was sitting here. He was running for mayor some time ago, and I was like, okay, we understand what's going on, as far as we see the police brutality, things like that. But what's our responsibility, especially from like the NAACP? You guys are out there. You guys get all the calls and see the lawsuits and see the people and get the phone calls of somebody being disenfranchised, somebody being, discriminated against, whatever. Because what's our responsibility? Because ultimately, what our responsibility is, we see brutality and we see cops, shooting things like that. But the cop didn't do the job by on the house the other night. You know what I'm saying? The cop didn't, catch you at the liquor store. The cop didn't, do this. That somebody else did that looks like us. But what is our responsibility?
But this is, you know what? That's funny you said that, because back to the conversation I told you I had on Facebook, the man told me that we have to stop calling ourselves the N-word. We got to pull our pants up. We got to do this and we got to do this. Okay. say that it's true,
Sure.
right? But in 1970, my grandma and them was doing that as well, and y'all was
Yeah.
still treating us the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's not say
Yeah.
that's the reason.
Say people
Not-
that were lynched people that were lynched had suits on too.
Right.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
tried with y'all. We tried. At
Yeah.
this point, maybe we need to start putting on hoods and coming after y'all.
Man, listen
Let's
here.
get just down to the like
Listen,
nitty gritty.
That'll be Civil War 3 right there. You know, and listen, the views and the objects of this show is not the views of KUAW Radio.
Oh, I forgot about that. But for real, like, I mean, they're an organization as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
They're an
That's
organization
funny you said that because they are.
that has been marching in
Absolutely.
our neighborhoods and everything. Like, they're not a secret.
That's
They're
right,
there.
right.
Then they're still they're here.
Yeah.
Like, and then I ran into this guy who is reforming the Black Panthers.
Mhm.
But it's almost to a point like that's something you cannot redo.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say you can't redo it.
Yeah, and that's why I said what I said earlier. You know, it's to the point where it's purposely designed.
That has been marching in our
It's Can you hear that?
Like they're not
It-
a secret.
It's
They're
purposely
there.
designed to have us scattered. You know what I'm saying? It's like okay, well, okay, we have an issue. We'll set a fire over here. Hyperbole. We'll set a fire over here, and then we'll put that fire. Oh no, we over here. No, look over here. And then so everybody's kind of like, well, which way do I go? As opposed to say, okay, we need to focus right there, but we can't focus right there because you know when your emotions are so tied into a situation, man, you don't think straight, and they know that. The powers that be, whomever they are.
That's why I think it's so many beatings going on because they know that we cannot think straight. If we do it over here, by 10 minutes later, it's either gonna be one or two options that we do. If it happens over here once, we either forget about it after a while, or now what they doing is just doing it everywhere, so we could just look like a bunch of crazies.
Yeah.
Like we not crazy.
Like
y'all.
we run around like a chicken with our head cut off.
This is what a tired person feels like, looks like. They know.
Yeah. Wear you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wear you down and then they come in for the boom. Yeah. Mr. Tyson also says we have to take inventory of our own houses. We all know that who are the idiots, and they are, and we have to check them. That is the only way that things will change. We can't police these issues away. We've got to do it. You're right. We got to do it. You know, I did a show some time ago. And we were talking about neighbors and neighborhoods and things like that. You know, it used to be where Mr. George, because we called everybody Mr. and Mrs. You know, so it used to be where Mr. Walker, I'll say Mr. Walker came down the street. He was coming home from Ford Motor Company. You knew he got home at 3:15 in the afternoon, and then he come down and then he pulled in the driveway. He waved at everybody, pull in the driveway, get out, walk in the house, and then maybe speak to some people before he go in. But now it's to the point where somebody come in at whatever the case. They may wave at you, they may not wave at you, they may not even know you, and then they go into their garage, close the garage, go into the house, go in the backyard with the privacy fence that's 10 feet tall.
My grandma.
In the bar, all you can do is smell the barbecue and hear the music.
Yeah.
But you go in there, with your vehicle, roll the garage door up, come in there, close the door, shut the blinds, nobody sees you. As opposed to and look at the newer houses right now. They really don't have a front porch. A lot of houses have a big super back patio, but they don't have a front porch. It used to be where we had a front porch where people saw you. Now people really don't see.
And that's why it's so hard for me to find a house, because I want a front porch. I'm like, my little country stuff on the front porch. I gotta be nosy from the front and the back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so she gotta know what's going on, and that's important because when I wake up in the morning, I have to when I'm off, I have to open the blinds to get the clean. The lights got to come in. Yeah, us too. You have to see what's going on and everything. You definitely have to be there. So we got somebody tuned in right now. We're gonna go ahead. Actually, can we go to a break, Mr. Walker, real quick? Or is he ready? Don't worry about it. He's ready. Come on. Austin, are you with us?
What's going on, brother?
Man, what's good?
Man, I kid you not. At 4:29, I end up getting alert. I end up getting alert on my watch.
Yeah.
It's tornado warning.
Oh,
Nashville.
wow.
I kid you not.
Yeah.
So
You all right?
I think we're good. I think we're
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Just being, safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. 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 Austin, say hello to my guest if you wouldn't mind. Can you see her, Candace? Can you see her?
I don't see.
You
her.
can't see her. Okay. Okay. She's invisible. Maybe you can hear her.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello.
Hello. I hear you.
Right on, right on. Man, listen, thank you for chiming in. I know you had to, hurry up and scoop, man, but I really appreciate you chiming in and everything. And the reason why I had you on, and I shared your podcast with her as well. The reason why I had you, man, because that podcast was pretty powerful. But you did that. Was it right after George Floyd's passing? Am I right?
Yes, sir. It was George. We knew about George at that time. Ahmad,
Yeah.
Brianna.
Yeah. Yeah, and that podcast, man, it really got me to the point, where you guys had the phone call and the call in, and when I don't know if it's you or your brother, when y'all screamed that thing, man, that was heavy, because that's what I've been talking to Candy about, is just the fact that we're to a point where it's frustrating, man. You get to a point where you're angry, you get to the point where you get ticked off, you get to a point where you're hurt, you're mad. Now it's to the point where it's just pure frustration, and I think that's really where they want us to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yes, sir. That's a lot of fact there. It's we're not talking about just something that's happened in an isolated incident.
Right.
This has been brewing years,
Right.
decades, centuries. So the screen was definitely hoping to embody some of that, but you're right. I mean, a lot of times they think anger can't be used in a productive way. So there are definitely people that just want us mad and they don't want us to use that anger in productive ways.
Right, and that's and that's one thing that we were just talking about a moment ago. Is just like, you look at the peaceful protest, and just go out there, folks chant Black Lives Matter, or stop the hurt and things like that. But then that gets no. I'm not gonna say it doesn't get any traction, but that doesn't get the attention. But then when you go and you see things where people burn stuff up, then the people are like, well, don't do that. Well, like, well, wait a minute.
Or the one where the woman was on the street and she was like, they took the black paint and smeared it through the Black Lives Matter, and she was yelling, we don't matter. We really don't matter. If we matter, why are y'all still putting liquor stores on every corner?
Right.
Why y'all still flooding our communities with drugs, with guns, with everything? And then y'all cover it up by saying if we matter.
Absolutely.
Like, we matter only to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
Because when y'all made it 18 for you to carry a rifle, and then y'all make a semi-automatic a handgun.
Yeah.
Y'all, come on. And then, but at the time where gangs were the biggest, and when it was. We didn't need it.
Not only that, but not only just the timing was crazy, but the fact that we had just I don't even know if we were really out of the opioid pandemic or whatever the case, where folks were ODing on opioids and illicit drugs and things like that.
With that. They allowed it so easy for Black doctors to make clinics in the communities,
right,
and stay open and make so much money. Because I just was watching, I can't remember, it was I don't know if it was on Hulu or Netflix, where they were showing this woman who had a clinic, and I think it was New Orleans or somewhere, where she was writing so many prescriptions for opioid. Like, the clinic looked like it was a club at nighttime. But she said she had to send her kids through college, and this was the only way she was going to be able to do it.
Writing prescriptions.
That's sad.
It is. Man, what do you think about that, Austin, bro?
I think it's powerful. No, it's speaking facts, and that's why I'm a speech teacher. So rhetoric means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And the way that we use words, if you're going, so many people in the white community go through the opioid epidemic, and the language that's used.
Yeah.
Need help.
Yeah.
You know, let's help them. And I'm not saying that's false.
Sure.
What I'm saying, that needs to be applied to our Black brothers and sisters as
Across
well.
the board.
And
Absolutely.
so I'm not bashing them for thinking let's treat this as a health issue instead of a criminal issue. I'm saying we should have been doing that for the Black community a long time ago. Because
Absolutely.
you're raising the point where, I mean, the way that y'all, I don't know when we're gonna be ready for this, but I read an article talking about how Nazi Germany actually looked to the U.S. for inspiration.
I've read that before.
Yes, Adolf
Yeah.
Hitler. I mean, he was inspired
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
shit. Now,
Yeah.
if that doesn't send chills down your bone, then I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Because the U.S. is one of the quickest nations to denounce Nazi Germany,
Yeah.
to speak ill of. So why are they looking at you like you doing something right?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why was the way that they formed ghettos. You know, when you look at the drugs, when you look at the kind of weapons, we're not making. How are we getting AK-47s here? Like, we're not manufacturing these weapons.
Yeah.
Somebody are dropping them off
Yeah.
and letting us wreak havoc. And so it's one of those things where it's so institutional, it's so intentional.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in the hood. Like, once you live there, you'll realize, like, oh my goodness, there
Yeah.
are so many things outside of personal responsibility that's contributing.
Yes.
because
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Personal responsibility is so important.
Yeah.
But when you make that the whole pie, you're just gonna miss all the crap that goes on that they have no control over.
Yeah.
No control.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, when you definitely, I mean, you're 100%, man. When you look at the redlining and you look at the places where you're permitted not to live, when you look at, the stores that in your community that's been there forever that will not hire you, and when you look at a lot of different aspects, man, that plays into the whole pie, as you said. It plays into that whole formula for destruction, and it does not change.
It's funny you say that because they made it. They always try to make it like, oh, you're a double minority, you get so much in this and that and that. But then they double standard it by, oh, you're a Black woman, you're angry. But on real honesty, you have to be like me. Being in the field, I have to be.
Sure.
Like me coming into the bail bond field. They didn't even want to make me a bounty hunter. They sent me through the runaround and everything. So I'm the type of person, I'm a go-getter.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do to become a bounty hunter. But then I changed the game up when I seen it starting to slide. I opened my own security guard company. You know why? Because half of those bounty hunters gonna need jobs.
Yep.
And once they need jobs, guess what they trying to do? They trying to secure.
Yep.
So they gonna need a job from me.
Absolutely.
So, but at the same time, everybody's well, you're a double minority, but it's harder when I'm a double minority because y'all don't respect me.
You know what? That is so powerful. I don't mean man, but man, that's so powerful that you said that. There's and I forgot where the sister's from. She's a police officer. It's been trending on Facebook. She's a federal police officer, and she got pulled over by two cops. And she literally sitting there. Have you seen it, Austin? She literally breaks down in tears because she's like, she knew what was going to happen, and she's like, I know me in a federal officer's uniform getting pulled over and harassed by these two white cops. I would just imagine if had I not been, in my uniform or just a regular civilian, what kind of trouble that I could have potentially been in just by having that encounter, by them pulling me over on a speed trap.
Well, that's the one I say you got to know your law. Because that same thing happened to me in Raytown, coming from 63rd and Quick Trip. They pulled me over, and the first thing the officer said, "Your car smells like marijuana." That's no longer a probable cause, sir, because the marijuana can smell like a lot of stuff at this point.
Absolutely.
So let's go to this. If this is your probable cause, do you want to search my vehicle? Because if you want to search my vehicle, I can tell you what's inside my vehicle, and we can go for inventory check from there.
Right.
And we can make this easier. No, he wanted me to get out the car. Well, I'm Black and I just got my hair done. So I'm not getting out the car in the rain, sir. I need to sit in your cruiser. He didn't want to meet me halfway on nothing.
Right.
So I asked for his sergeant. He told me no. And I looked him dead in his eyes. I said, so are you telling me at this point you are denying me a sergeant at the scene? He's like, yeah, that's fine, because guess what I did? I went in my phone, and I woke up Raytown Sergeant. So this is what you, and that's what you fail to realize is
Oops.
that you have to know your law
Oops.
and know who you be dealing with. I'm talking about
Yeah.
this man has my guns, has
Yeah.
my money, telling
Yeah.
me I'm selling drugs, telling me
Sure.
he sells drugs. I'm telling him like, no, sir, I make an honest living.
Absolutely.
He's like, at 12 o'clock at night at Quick Trip, I'm a drug dealer. I'm pull up to the safe spot. Come on,
At the safe spot. Yeah, you ain't lying.
like,
Man.
no, you just have. We have to start learning our laws.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to present them with anything. You don't have to be smart
Yeah.
about it either. But
Yeah.
you have to know your law.
Yeah, and fear kicks in, man, and I think fear was a big part of your podcast that you did, man.
Mhm.
Fear really fear and hurt, and were two of the real things that came across in your podcast, man. Am I right, Austin?
Yes, sir. Fear from all different angles. We try to respectfully do a poetry piece from Ahmad's perspective.
Right.
What that run would have looked like if he replayed it, so it's the fear of knowing that he's being targeted, the fear of, Amy Cooper.
Yeah.
You think fear in saying, I'm about to call the cops and say
Yeah.
you're a black man,
Yeah.
for her to emphasize that she knew the game.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things, especially all the information, her coming up as a liberal, fear from the little child who's trying to tell, the dad who was raised in a different era slightly, because what's a microaggression to getting your head beat in and a sit-in?
Right.
Sometimes it's harder for even our older black brothers and sisters to connect because their abuse was so in your face,
Right.
so overt, if you will, that sometimes it's hard for them to care and to be tender. They don't mean it, but a lot of times that's the conditioning. So it was fear from all aspects, fear of the white church not, standing up and calling racism what it is, satanic, demonic, needs to be abolished. So you're right, fear was a theme, and hopefully people listen to it that didn't see this as an issue went, wow, this is a real emotion. And it humanized it a little bit more.
No, it's bone chilling the way they just broke it down. Like,
Yeah.
no, like what you created, what we see beauty in. Y'all see like y'all scared of this, but at the end of the day, we are really what keeps the wheels of America going.
Yeah, I say
Like,
I often say this. I say the inner city in the metroplex or the inner city in every city is the heartbeat of the whole city, and I really believe that. I believe the inner city is got most of the people that most of the hardest working people, most of the community driven people. Oftentimes, a lot of times, the major community centers, man, and the inner city is the heartbeat. To me, is the heartbeat of every city, and I believe that's why the inner city is like the melting pot of every city. You have the black, you have the whites, you have the Latinos, and the man. You have everybody in right there in the inner city. I believe that's the heartbeat of the city. And that's why I believe that it stays under such a microscope. It's like to us it's life. To them it's like an experiment.
right? Yeah,
It's like an
but you know what?
experiment.
I think we make it an experiment too. Because for me, when I go out of town, I like to go visit the other urban. I call them urban areas.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what's so different, and nothing is really honestly different, but the people who are there.
Right.
Like same thing. You got a church next to it.
Yeah.
The church next to a liquor store.
Yeah.
And then,
Absolutely.
except for in Florida, they got 7-Elevens everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, wow, man, that's interesting, man. So we got a little bit of time left. Justin, if anybody wants to see your podcast, man, how can they reach out to you so they can take a look at that, brother?
Yes, thank you for asking. We actually have a website now, ALG Creatives, that you can go to, algcreatives.com, and it gives all of our information. So the streaming services, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can find us there.
Nice.
It also gives opportunities, just if you feel touched by it, if you feel moved by it, just to help give. Because production, obviously has cost. So we open that up. No pressure for anybody. But at the end of the day, the support goes a long way. We're actually working on our next project right now. Like Dialogue Part 2.
I have a question. What was the feedback?
Excited to do this one.
What was the feedback for the podcast? Because when I heard it, I was like, wow, that was bold for you to even get on there. And I would just wonder how like people responded and stuff.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I had some crazy conversations I never thought I would have. There was like an ex Chiefs football player reached out to me and talked to me and my little brother, and we talked for like an hour and a half, and
Yeah.
a just totally different side of the spectrum as far as the way we relate to race in this country. And that was crazy. A lot of people either told me they loved it or, hey, I need more conversation. Let's keep it going. So I would meet with people or message people. Nobody reached out that really didn't like it or hated it.
Yeah.
Nobody reached out to me about it, but most of it was, oh my goodness, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what to do with all this.
I
Yeah.
was
And I
studying
tell people,
like,
you know,
oh my God, like he said it.
yeah,
Yeah. It was, and before
Yeah.
when I had Candy jump on the show with me today, I I told her that you would be here, and I sent her the link to your podcast so she can kind of get a feel for what it was and the feel for you before you jumped on, so she can kind of have a little point of reference before she came on, man. And I think that was important because it impacted me, and I sent it out to quite a bit of people, man. So that's dope. But thank you for sharing that.
thank you. Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. Listen here. All right, brother. Take care, man. You be well.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And nice to meet you. Good to talk with you as
You
well.
too.
All right, brother. We'll be talking, man. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Yeah, so that was Austin. The podcast that he just was on ALG. Definitely a beautiful podcast. And it was well put together, and I mean from the phone call to the so you can hear the television talking in the background to him and his brother having a conversation about the football game. But it was very well put together, and I think
Yeah, because
that
it
took
made you
time.
think.
It did.
It was like
It did.
if
It was
I
a
called,
production.
it was like if I called the police
Yeah,
and
yeah.
tell them these are following me, like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Who they gonna believe?
Absolutely. It was definitely
Ooh.
it was definitely theater of the mind, because you can sit there and you can see two brothers having a conversation back and forth. Like, whoa, wait a minute, what was on TV? And then they go back and they're looking at, oh man, not again. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, ah. But yeah, that was powerful. That was powerful. But definitely, we got we got work to do, and I think that's an understatement. I'm sure that's been said over and over and over and over and over again. But don't give up, everybody. Don't give up, man. Stay in the fight. Know that you do have an ally, man. You got God on your side and everything. Definitely, man. Communicate to your to the people that are like minded, because everybody that look like you ain't with you. You know what I mean?
That part.
I mean that's just real.
That's just
I
what
mean
it
I
is.
want to be honest, but definitely communicate with people, man, that look like you, and that think like you. And I think that's how we'll get past this, and we'll get over this. I think a lot of times when you see these things, it's divide and conquer. If I can divide you against you against you against you, then at some point I can start picking you off. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you're the last person there by yourself, and then you just go crazy. Yeah, but definitely, but definitely, uh, uh, communicate with each other, man. We can make difference. We definitely can make a difference. What do you say about that, man?
Well, I say is that I know we've made a difference. We made a huge difference because I sit and talk to my grandmother that's 87 years old. And when you can hear an older person say, we have it better than them, then just know that we have, we've moved somewhere.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know how long it'll take. I don't
Yeah.
know if the world will end before it does happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least be thankful that we are here in the time that we are here. And because I know me personally, I wouldn't have made it back then.
Yeah.
I would have been strange fruit tree. I mean, I'm a strange fruit tree because I just don't know how to keep my mouth closed.
Yeah, and that's important. You have to speak up. You got to say something. When something hurts you, man, that's human nature, as you said earlier so eloquently. That, I mean, that's just human nature. When you hurt, ouch. If I hurt, I'm gonna say ouch. And depending on how bad I hurt, you might strike back.
Right.
And that's anybody. Police officer, not police officer, thug or no thug, however you want to say.
You know what I say we do?
What's that?
one thing we don't do, and I don't understand how we don't do it, and y'all wanted to change, start becoming police officers. We look at it as a bad thing, but if you wanted to change it. Become
Yeah.
a police officer. You don't want to be stereotyped. Well, don't stereotype. You're not gonna stereotype yourself,
Yeah.
your own people. So start becoming police officers. That's
Yeah.
they hiring too right now.
Yeah,
They
you
need.
ain't lying. You know that's
They say, "Oh, we gonna be against this or this." Half of y'all need a job.
yeah, that's real. And when Sheriff Forte was in there, he talked about when he came in office, a lot of the bad seeds that he had to weed out. So if you have a person like that, man,
He doing
this
a good job of
yeah,
him and Baker over there. I don't know what they got going on.
man, listen.
They got something going on. We don't know about everybody getting indicted.
See, and that's what I'm saying. If you got a person, if you got a person that definitely uh has morals or just has, I don't want to say common sense, but if he has a person that's in that vein right there, and has the capacity to have you come in there and maybe come under their wing and teach you and train you in such a way that that you should be a community servant, but also have your back and teach you the right way, then why wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? It would make sense. You have an ally that's saying, listen, okay, this is maybe how it was going, but this is what we need to do.
Yeah, I just think differently. If I feel like if you can't beat them, join them, and that goes in anything. I feel like you can count me out, but you only got to 3 to count me out. Cause 4 or 5, I'm coming.
Yeah,
Like you have to. We have
Yeah.
to be one step ahead of. We've always been one step ahead of them.
absolutely.
Now we just two. Like, on honesty, I feel like we more afraid right now than they were back then, because they had really nothing to lose.
Right.
And we have to look at it like we have nothing to lose at this point either. And I mean, mothers, y'all got y'all kids y'all have y'all kids y'all got to put out here in it.
Yeah,
If y'all want to change it, start showing more faces of us. We have to see more of us there.
yeah. Maybe it's the fear of trying.
I know. I think it's the stereotyping. Like, we have so many people. I tell kids, "Oh, become a police officer." I ain't no snitch, but you'll tell on somebody if they took something from you. Like, no,
Yeah.
we have to change our mindset. We
That's
have
right.
to change where, like, everybody can't be a police president, but you can
Yeah.
be the over. You can be the what is it called? The chairperson, or the person over internal affairs. That's
Sure.
a big deal.
It is, and you just right around when Trump come in, he's appointed. I don't know how many Supreme Court justices. Those are a lot of those are lifetime, not lifetime sentences, but a lot of those are a lifetime term. So if you get to a point where you can make moves, or you can get out there and be in that vein, and that right there put you in a better position where you can do something. We look at the private prisons and all that stuff. I know that's a whole nother subject, but we look at a lot of those privatized prisons and things like that. Definitely they are money driven, but there are ways that you can be impactful, and definitely we don't have to take this land down. There is hope, man, and for somebody out there that don't think there's hope, and somebody's out there still hurting behind, a lot of this going on, man. Listen, don't give up, man. Don't give up. We know depression is real, man. Just take it day by day, and listen, you can make it.
I'm actually about to be
You can
part
make
of a suicide prevention convention or thing on the 26th of September.
Okay.
Like, well, she does it every year actually, and we really need to start being really big on mental health. Because a lot of people, I honestly thought this one person was on drugs the other day, and come to find out they was just in a manic state. And the police comes and tries to do all this other stuff to them, but we not really taking into consideration how bad mental health is out here.
Yeah. I agree. I did a show on mental health, and just talking about that's a whole nother language.
That is.
That's a whole nother language, because when you look at that, you have to speak that language, and if you don't understand it, then you can definitely take it the wrong way, and end up bad. I used to take sign language classes, years ago, and when you learn in sign language, there are certain hand gestures that mean a whole sentence, as opposed to just spelling the whole word out. But if I had known that, then I wouldn't be able to speak that language. And I think that's a lot of time a disconnect. We just need to speak the language and learn the languages of whatever it is. If we're dealing with mental health, we need to learn that language. We need to deal with as you talked about what's the laws. We need to learn what that language is, and just kind of put ourselves in better positions. And I think that's really what it is. We're playing chess and they playing checkers. Simply what it is. And we gotta do better, and we can do better. So
I'm always playing checkers because I'm a queen. So
there it is. She said it. Right on. So
always chess for me.
if anybody wants to reach out to you as far as bail bondsmen and whatnot, is that something you still do?
Oh, I have a page. Yeah, I have Candy Bail Bonding.
Okay.
But I'm going back into Learning Ambition. I do have the youth organization still,
Okay.
and now that everything is kind of going to be back up and running, we're going to be going back into our etiquette classes or character education classes.
Okay.
I have been asked to do a lot of other things in this community as well. So,
listen. That's the beauty of community involvement. You got 50 different ways you can go.
yes.
Yeah. Listen. Oh, if you guys need to do something in your spare time, get involved in a volunteer in the community activities. There's a lot to do. If you want to sit around and play video games, or whatever the case. So if you got free time, or
be a mentor, because I need mentors. So you can always hit me up on Facebook, Candy Sanders. I got a Learning Ambition. I've always needed mentors and volunteers because we sometimes take the kids and we go feed the homeless, do different things. Just need people to get out here and show these kids that we can do something different.
Yeah, and it gives you that opportunity to get from in front of that TV and just
talk
kind
to
of
real people.
Yeah, and set your mind straight. A lot of time, man, you sit there in front of the live vision all day, and it drags you down. It depresses you, and it will, But listen, y'all tune in to Street Therapy KC. It's your man Chris. My host here is Mrs. Candy. She's in here today, so I want to thank you for coming in. I appreciate you, my man Austin. Thank you for tuning in. Thank everybody for tuning in. Once again, listen, like us, share it, subscribe to it, donate to it. all the above, man. We definitely continue to try to do something different. Hey, thank y'all, man. Y'all take care. God bless.
Hey, this is a national recording artist called Roland, and I am a proud supporter of KUAW's Summer Fun Drive, and I've got something special in store for you. So come on and join me. Head to KUAW.org and donate now. There is no minimum, but your support of $5, $25, or even $100, it doesn't matter. Whatever you choose will support the community station that gives back to you through knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And just for being a value listener and supporter, I'd like to give to you my complimentary 10-song smooth CD music pack featuring my new hit single, A Natural High. So don't hesitate. Donate now. And hey, it's even tax deductible. And did I mention I'll be giving to you my 10-song smooth CD music pack? You can't beat that hookup. So I'm going to go ahead now and thank you for your donation.
Be sure and include your email address and we will send you information to receive your 10-song CD pack. Thank you for supporting KUAW Radio.